Aargau Topsport und TeleM1 präsentieren die 22. Ausgabe vom Baden Masters vom 19. bis am 21. August. Zum Saisonauftakt der Spitzengurler messen sich die besten Schweizer Gurler mit den amtierenden Olympiasieger und Weltmeister aus Schweden sowie mit den absoluten Top-Teams aus Kanada und den USA. Nervenkitzel, der Kampf um jeden Millimeter, grosse Emotionen. Bring noch, Vigo! Curling Weltklasse direkt vor der Haustür und am Freitag, 19. August auf TeleM1. Das Baden Masters wird präsentiert von Swisslos Sport von Aargau, V-Zug, dem Schweizer Haushaltgerätehersteller und der Walde Immobilien AG, die Mensch und Immobilien zusammenbringen.
Good morning, Curling World. It is the final day of the Baden Masters 2022 edition. It's the first of the World Curling Tour events here in Europe, kicking off season 22-23. We started off with 20 teams. We are down to 4. There are 2 semi-finals out there today, playing for a place in the grand final. My name is Lorna Rettig, and we will be watching our featured game together this morning. And very interesting lineup, an all-Norwegian affair out there. One team that we're very familiar with. One team I haven't watched before for this weekend. Throwing red stones from Norway. It is young team Hoestmaelingen. And throwing yellow stones, also from Norway. It is the familiar figure of Stefan Walstad. So as I said, one very familiar Norwegian team. Stefan and his team representing Norway at Olympics just a few months ago in February. And young Hoestmaelingen, they have really announced themselves here this weekend. If folks didn't know too much about them before, there are 19 teams who are very familiar with these young men now. They have been absolutely fearless, picking off big name after big name. They have nothing to lose, playing really positively, and now they have the Norwegian Olympic team in front of them for a place in the final. So if you're a Norwegian curling fan, great stuff. 2 Norwegian teams already in the semi-final. 3 Norwegian teams started off in this competition, 2 of them already in the semi-final. The third of their teams, that was Team Ramsfjell. They finished in 10th place overall, just missing out on quarterfinals yesterday. So really super weekend for Norwegian curling so far, and more to come. We will say hello to the teams in just a minute. We're in the first end here. And over on sheet 3 and 4, you can watch the other semi-final. You can keep eyes on that in the static cam. And over there, we have from Switzerland, Team Yannick Schwaller. Also first time seeing their new lineup for us here, and they're up against Team Goesgens from Netherlands. Always a strong team, always play really aggressively, Walter's team. Very difficult to get past. They were the first team to qualify themselves for the quarterfinals here, and last night in the quarterfinals they handily dispatched Marco Høsli's team, and they were the first team to qualify themselves for semi-finals. So in really tip-top form, the Dutch boys, and we'll be keeping eyes on what's going on over there too. So some fun breakfast curling for us here in Baden.
Ja, jeg skjønte det, men jeg trodde ikke å svikte det.
We have our fun new little graphic up again. So if you want to say hi in the chat, or you want to tell us who you're cheering for this weekend, what you've enjoyed watching. Everybody's welcome here. Our super fans, Michaela and Megan, ready for the action as always. Matilda in Sweden. She's kindly rooting for her neighbours in Norway.
14-2.
Matilda saying,
Okay.
yeah, lack of a Swedish team, but yeah, we have plenty of Norwegian teams to look at. So let's say hi to them. I've been putting this off because I think the curling gods are having a giggle, putting the most difficult names in the competition all together for me. But on the left of your screen, we have the young team Høstmælingen from Norway. Fourth thrower is Grunde Buras. Third thrower, Lukas Høstmælingen. Second thrower, Magnus Lillebø. And lead thrower, Dinius Nordby. And over on the right of your screen, the familiar figures of Team Walstad. Fourth and skip, Stefan Walstad. Third is Magnus Nedergoten. Second, Mathias Brenden. Lead, Magnus Vollberg.
Jeg liker å dra bak. Halle. Der også her og er veldig bra. Ja. Gjerne med gå
I'm
for
going to
alle.
work very hard at trying to pronounce their names correctly.
Tror jeg må ha litt mindre. Ja, drikatt.
And if you take note of these things, you will see that Stefan not wearing his famous beanie hat. Maybe it's having a bit of a long lie on this Sunday morning. Maybe it couldn't get out of bed. Let's hope it doesn't affect him. It is Walstad who has last stone advantage in this first end. But as we've seen all weekend, these young men not afraid to just call a team's bluff from the first stone and go straight for the aggressive stuff. All of the teams in this competition very respectful now of the firepower of this young Norwegian side. You often find the younger teams, particularly the younger boys teams, you often find they just love to throw a stone as hard as they can.
Yep.
And sometimes that will get you out of trouble, but what wins you games is T8. And these lads have it in their pocket. And indeed, big throw from Magnus Nedergoten, but not finding his angle there and handing an early opportunity to the young Norwegians.
Litt kjappere slipp, Magnusin. Nei! Nærme på linje. Ja, gå med da, gå med.
I think 3 of the team still in juniors, still have 2 or 3 years left in junior curling.
Yes.
Oh, my mistake, Magnus does have his beanie. Sorry, Stefan does have his beanie. Phew.
Samme.
Same ask then for Magnus Nedergoten. Drive that red back into the pair of reds sitting on the forefoot. Just try to clear a bit of space. Mighty shove from Magnus.
Yep. Okay.
And this time he gets everything. Really good stuff from him. Rolls away himself. Definitely making up for a bit of a miss with his first stone. No chance to have a slow start on a Sunday morning in this competition. We had a couple of big teams having a bit of a slow start. Ended up not qualifying. But always good to see some new teams in quarterfinals, semi-finals. And as we said, if you're a fan of Norwegian curling, then your Sunday is going to be pretty good. Neither of the teams in front of us have won this competition before. Obviously, Team Hoestmaelingen, this is their first time visiting us here in Baden. And Walstad's team, they've been here before. Not got their hands on the trophy yet, but pretty close this time already.
Okay.
And these young guys, they have that front of house weight, front of T weight, they have it in their pockets. That one maybe just slipped on a little bit further than they wanted. That's now making quite a target for Stefan Walstad.
Ja, det jo... Kan oss... Får oss kontakt I det hele tatt med...
I'm not even going to get away with saying Team Norway here, since they both are. I'm going to have to practice these names. A big target for Walstad.
Prøv å sitte igjen med skjuteren. Sånn har jeg tenkt å rulle Parstein når vi sitter her rett foran. Jeg tenkte... Ja, liker vi bare kjepp? Ja, det er Magnus tenkt å... Skal vi prøve det? Ja. Får du dra? Ja, den ryker ikke. Det greit det. Kjepp da.
Both of these teams did lose one game on their way to the semi-final. We had 2 unbeaten teams going into quarterfinals. But both of them lost their quarterfinal yesterday evening. We had a great session. Look that one up in the video vault if you want to watch a fun game.
Yep. Hard. Whoa. Rent. Yep.
Big throw from Walstad. He beaks the first one. But one of those little reds still hanging around. A bit of work to do yet then for Walstad's team if they want to blank this end. He's going to be looking either at probably a double takeout to try to blank an end, or maybe scoring one here.
Her. Og så kan gå an.
Nice open hit. Is quite welcome. First thing on a Sunday morning. We don't want to get too complicated already in end one. Unsurprisingly, over on sheet 3, things a little more complicated, a little more stacked up. That's how these Dutch boys play.
Yep.
Always full of stones.
Hard. Yes.
Whyte at 4th stone, skipping the team this year. He's very reliable, just drawing the pin if he needs to. And this one's got a bit too much curl here in our featured game, but... Or maybe it didn't. Maybe that's exactly where they wanted it, because look, yeah, now the double takeout is very awkward. And indeed, Walstad not even looking at it.
Ja, det sant. Spill det da. 11-5. Ja, 11-5.
Looks like Truls is maybe suggesting it. But I think this makes sense. Let's just keep things simple early in this game.
Knappe mindre, Mathias.
We shall see a nice controlled takeout, I think. Good start from Høstmælingen.
Linja bra, forsiktig.
Forcing the more experienced Walstad rink to take only 1 point here in this first end. But no trouble there. Everybody agreed immediately, 1 yellow point. And that means after our first end here in our featured semi-final, it means that Team Walstad, they are 1-0 ahead of Team Hoestmaelingen.
Perfection means nothing if you cannot feel it. I think a lot about how I feel when I enter a space. Imagine you walk into your kitchen and you feel that this place is truly made for you. Maybe because of the clean lines or the real materials. I believe in authenticity. It is probably the most difficult thing for us, to stay true to who we are. For me, this is perfection.
If you're just joining us, maybe you're having your breakfast on a Sunday morning, you have semi-final curling here from the Baden Masters. We have had 2 great days of curling already. Quite a few surprise results. Baden often throws up a few surprises. It's the first competition in World Curling Tour here in Europe for the season. So all the big teams like to come here, see what kind of shape they're in at the beginning of the season. And that often means, yeah, you get a little surprise here and there. And here in our featured game, our featured semi-final, probably a surprise for most of us. The team throwing red here in this game and just sweeping that yellow stone behind. That's team Hoestmælingen from Norway. But they've played fearlessly all weekend, only having 1 loss to Retornaz's very experienced drink from Italy. No shame losing there. And everyone else, they have dispatched. So they should be feeling good confidence. They should be feeling sky high going into this semi-final. No reason not to push it into the final.
Yes.
First stone for Tinius Nordby in the second end. Again, the aggressive call, straight out with a corner guard.
Magnus sin nære å riske køl. 3-4. Ok, fart er viktigst. 3,5. Ok. Det er 4. Nei, heller hele inn en biter. Prøver han dø, eller? Ok, og 15 blank.
Two of Stefan Walstad's team. They represented Norway. Well, 3 actually. Were representing Norway in Beijing at the Olympics. That was Stefan, Magnus Voberg and Magnus Niedergotten. Plenty of experience there. Magnus Niedergotten, of course, also very successful in mixed doubles. He and his teammate and partner picking up the silver medal in the mixed doubles at the Olympics last time, and bronze medal the time before that, so plenty of experience there. Sheet 3 still in their first end. I think that could be quite a slow game over there. As I said, the Dutch boys always very aggressive with their style. Lots of stones in play for them, and that takes a while. It was Team Goesgens who started out with last stone.
Hard! Go hard! Hard! Hard, go! Hard, 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 fortsätt.
And hopefully someone will put the score up in a second, and I can tell you how the other semi-finals getting on.
And
there are 3 people on the ice who have won this trophy before, all of them in Yannick Schwaller's team. Yannick himself was part of the winning team last year with his previous team. Benoit Schwartz and Sven Michael have also won this competition. I think between the 3 of them, I counted it yesterday, I think it's about 10 times their names are all over the trophy.
Det er veldig fort å sitte I den, ellers så ligger den åpen. Ja, det bare, det mye, ja, vi kan jo gjøre det, men det mye vanskeligere stein. 15 da.
We might think maybe then that Yannick Schwaller's team may be favourites to get to the final and maybe lift the trophy again, but this is a brand new lineup for them as well. Not so easy to just jump into a new team and start performing, but here they are in the semi-finals already. There's a lot of good firepower in that team.
Whoa! Whoa, ingen. Spin in.
And over on sheet 3, it was a last stone draw for ever reliable Waddell Goesgens, and it was a score of 1. It was Goesgens who had hammer, so hammer now goes to Schwaller in end 2. We have our Japanese fans in the chat as well. Always lovely to hear from you guys. Beautiful saying good curling to both teams.
Yep. Hard.
Not so early for our Japanese friends. They can have some curling over lunchtime maybe, or the early afternoon. Tidy stuff from Team Walstad playing yellow. They will know, I'm sure, all about these young men. They probably have actually the best experience of playing against the young Norwegians. Is that going to help them here? This is the right call for me. It's Høstmælingen rink that has the last stone in the second end. Both of those yellows, they may come putting a bit of pressure on later. I actually thought they were going for the straight draw, but they're doing it the other way, the hit and roll across the house, but I think that one's going to roll a bit too far. That didn't quite work out as much as they hoped, and I fancy Walstad. Oh, I forgot, we're looking at Norway here. They're going to play the aggressive stuff. If it was me, I would say, okay, no more corner guard for you. Very defensive, very boring. As I keep saying, being defensive, that doesn't really win you games these days. Well, it can keep you out of trouble, but what will win you competitions these days is this draw weight. And Magnus Nedergoten there throwing third stones with Walstad. Very used to throwing these delicate weights, front of house weight, with his mixed doubles experience. Did they wait too long, the sweepers? No. No trouble. A second chance. For Lukas Hoestmælingen. He throws third and skips the team as well. If you want to say hi in the chat, we always love to hear from everyone here in the Virtual Curling Club.
Wow! Yup! Yes! Yes! Hard.
The reverse this time, a little bit overcautious and not getting much of a roll at all. But that definitely a better result, rather more like a hit and stick than a hit and roll out. That forces Walstad to play a shot now. And you can see that yellow sitting in the back there. You never know. They're always dangerous stones behind tee like that.
Yep. Hard.
Walstad needing to be careful with the angles here. He doesn't want to catch this yellow on the way out. No trouble for Nedergoten. And now we're going to use that corner guard, go for the direct draw.
Touch mer. Vi er vel enige i det.
It is Team Høstmælingen who have last stone in the second end.
Sorry.
That a rare mistake though. And that gives Stefan Walstad now a chance to cancel out that guard. Still not interested in removing it.
Fem perfekt da. Fem perfekt.
Both Norwegian sweepers conveniently called Magnus, or maybe confusingly, if you just want one of the Magnuses to sweep. I'm sure they have a system.
For en halv stein mer, Mathias. Kant til kant øverst så ut greit da. Kant til kant øverste.
No, I don't think Stefan is wearing his famous beanie hat today. We were right the first time. Wanting a third yellow counter in the house then to put some pressure on these aggressive young guys.
Bare fart. Se forbi, det bare fart.
This one looks like it's a bit chunky as well. Is it going to put its brakes on? It is. It gets to T-line all by itself. Definitely chances then for Høstmælingen rink to chase that stone in and just curl to the outside of that yellow and then flop in behind that red. You can see, I think we can see probably most of that yellow from the other end. And they don't need to fully remove that yellow. They want to just punch it back towards backline and then flop in behind that red guard. Try and tempt Stefan Walstad into a miss. Pick up 2 points. That's always the objective when you have last stone. Well, that's typically the objective when you have last stone. You're wanting to try to score more than 1 point. And you do that by making shots too difficult for your opposition, trying to get a mistake from them, giving yourself a chance to score 2. But of course this one's coming in ever so dainty. You can see I don't think that had the weight. I think he needed that to be more like backline, even hack weight. And I don't even think that punched that red in for second shot, unfortunately. Otherwise, that could have been helpful. But yeah, a bit of a miss there. We have a good few spectators here in the club already. Also enjoying some nice breakfast curling. We weren't able to have visitors to the club for the past couple of years with pandemic restrictions, but the risk is sufficiently low again. So if you're in the neighbourhood and you want to see some top-level curling, you are more than welcome to join us in the club. Our Japanese friends may be a little far away to join in person, but we love to have you in the chat. Final stone of the second end for Stefan Walstad.
Linja ikke så verst. Forsiktig. Risk overkøl. Risk overkøl. Bare fart da. Bare lengde.
And he's just trying to make life as awkward as possible for the final stones for Lucas Høstmælingen. Pretty much like that. And that really puts pressure on this last stone. You can see it's going to need to be fully 4 foot, fully in that blue circle. And as we said, our angle's not perfect here, but I think that back yellow, I think that outcounts the red towards the front of the house on the right of our screen. So I think yellow is currently lying 1 and 2. And we need at least fully 8 foot to cut it down to 1, and fully 4 foot to get the point. Really nice end from Team Walstad, finally getting a couple of half shots from the youngsters.
Se up, se up. Yes, go now.
The sweepers seem fairly happy with it.
Yes.
Line looks really nice. Just making sure, making sure. Great shots. Really well judged. Super team shot there. Fully 4 foot it is. That's a real pressure shot. Great stuff from the young Norwegians. That's a score of 1 to them. So after 2 ends, that levels the scores. A force of 1 followed by a force of another 1. And that means the score is level at 1 each. We are in the third end of our featured semi-final here at the Baden Masters. We are watching an all-Norwegian encounter. If you're a fan of Norwegian curling, good news. You have 2 teams already in the semi-finals, and you are guaranteed a finalist here at the Baden Masters. Of course, another very famous Norwegian team has graced our competition many times. Famous not only in Norway, but all over the world, Team Thomas Ulsrud. They have won this competition 3 times. And last time as recently as 2018. And we've been talking about our wonderful brother in curling, Thomas Ulsrud, who very, very tragically died just before summer this year, only 50 years old. Real shocking news for all of us. Everybody terribly sad to hear of it. Very sad for our Norwegian friends. What an ambassador Thomas Ulsrud and his wonderful team have been for our sport and for Norwegian sport. I said yesterday, the impact of the fancy pants cannot be underestimated. A pair of the original fancy pants from the legendary Ulsrud team. They are now on display in the Olympic Museum in Lausanne here in Switzerland. That's how much of an impact Team Ulsrud had for our sport. Fine ambassadors for curling, fine ambassadors for Norway. And we're all still terribly sad to have lost our dear Thomas Ulsrud, and delighted to see Norwegian curling really playing in his spirit, playing really great stuff this weekend. Great to see the torch of Norwegian curling in good hands.
etappen til frys også, konge. Her vant, ja. Vant funker det.
We're in the third end here of All Norwegian semi-final.
Kjører lite her.
It's been a force of 1, followed by another force of 1. Scores level then after 2 ends. Second thrower for the young Norwegian side. It's another Magnus. Magnus Lillebø. And that's a nice throw from him. Høstmælingen's team, they've been doing this all weekend, just keeping stones in play, really setting up that front of house area, keeping those stones there. All 4 of them have that front of house weight in their pocket. Keeping stones in play, keeping stones at front of house, moving things around. Always dangerous.
Bra fart, Magnus.
It's Walstad playing yellow. They're the ones with last stone now, and a couple of dangerous reds lying around. So first throw for a while from a non-Magnus. And that same delicate weight just to keep his shooter in play, but he didn't quite find a nice angle. And those reds still looking dangerous.
Eventuelt så hadde det vært å dratt rundt her. Den liker jeg også veldig godt. Jeg liker den her. Da kommer den da. Ja. Den da. Garde her altså.
Sounds like the Norwegian word for guard is conveniently guard. Sometimes it can be an advantage if you're in a curling game and maybe you're speaking a different language to your opposition. You can have quite open discussions about tactics and so on that your opposition don't understand, but not in this game.
Ja, Tinus, hvis du kommer inn. Yes!
And nice stuff again from Magnus Lillebø, just taking away that angle. Yeah, we can't really see much of that yellow stone at all anymore. And Walstad looking at a bit of a problem now. There is a double takeout. Well, yeah, there are a couple of options for double takeout. I don't think there's a triple takeout. We've seen a few of those this weekend. But we need to move something here, Stefan, yep. Otherwise, the young guys are just going to continue blocking the path, I think. Megan appreciating the high quality of the curling already at the start of the season. Indeed. Things are always changing. A lot of these teams practicing all over summer still. Lovely double take out there from Brendan. That clears out a lot of the danger.
Yes. Yep. Yes. Yes.
Skip and third, Lucas Hoestmælingen. Just trying to ping that yellow out. You could see that stone was curling away from the line they wanted, but the boys did a good job. Oh. A sound of frustration there, though. That's moved the yellow away from the centre, but the problem is that yellow's still hanging around somewhere. As we said, typically the tactic, if you have last stone, which Stefan Walstad does, you're trying to look to make 2 points, and at the moment that little yellow hanging on by its fingernails right at the edge there, that might come back to bother young Hoestmaelingen's team. And from here we shall probably see Stefan Walstad just trying to keep separation from the yellows. That's why he was asking his sweepers to try to curl the stone there, try to catch the curl, keep that yellow moving, try to keep the shooter as far away from that yellow on the right of our screen. How do you think the game over on sheet 3 is doing, viewers? We have Schwaller with his new lineup, kind of a Swiss super team. The Galacticos of Swiss curling all playing together. And they are up against Whyte Goesgens from Netherlands. It was a steal of 2 to the Dutch boys, viewer. After 2 ends over on sheet 3 in our second semi-final, it is the Netherlands who are 3-0 ahead of Team Schwaller. And early doors yet, they're only in their third end as well, but 3 points ahead already. That's a big deal.
Yep. Hard, hard, hard. Hard.
No one looking like stealing anything in this end, though.
Det var litt dobbeltjusteringer på snakk om
Prøv å ligge her, da. Må bytte hånd. Litt høyere, da, sånn at han ikke kan rulle inn i huset.
And again, a few stones still to come. Good opportunity for some target practice for fourth thrower Grunde Bourage. I definitely need help with that name. And that's always quite nice, even though probably neither team now expecting to score this end. Always nice to just have a free throw to the house. Make sure you still have T-weight.
Skal bare ha to! Bare to! Magnus inn! Å, død der da. Ren, ja. Ren. Jepp, litt til. Greit det. Kjøler bare. Ja.
Persisting with the aggressive call, the young team. Thinking that maybe first thing on a Sunday morning, maybe they can tempt the more experienced drink of Stefan Walstad. Maybe they'll hit that guard on the nose by mistake. Give them a chance to swing a stone in behind it. First stone in the third end for fourth and skip Stefan Walstad. Ooh, that was a little close for comfort. Lukas Høstmælingen nearly getting away with that plan. Not hitting on the nose, but almost not catching the stone. Let's take a look at the split time out there, hog to hog time. It's been running about 14.5 seconds. That just tells the players overall how fast the ice is running in general. And you'll hear the players talking about a 12-second stone or a 10-second stone. And they mean how long the stone takes between the hog lines. That's over 15 seconds, wowzers. It is really fast out there, look at that. That's what we love though. We love nice, fast, curly ice. And again, Grunde Buras quite happy to just have a free throw to the house. Just keep that T-weight ticking over. And now we'll see again a big weight from Stefan Walstad. Everyone sounds pretty happy with it, nobody concerned. And just as they wanted a big weight there to make sure that yellow also rolled out, Norway blanking that end so that they can retain last stone advantage. So we will see a 0 up on the scoreboard. And after 3 ends in our featured game, the all-Norwegian semi-final, the score remains 1 each.
Perfection means nothing if you cannot feel it. I think a lot about how I feel when I enter a space. Imagine you walk into your kitchen and you feel that this place is truly made for you. Maybe because of the clean lines or the real materials. I believe in authenticity. It is probably the most difficult thing for us, to stay true to who we are. For me, this is perfection.
Good morning, good morning. If you are just joining us, maybe you're looking to enjoy some nice curling on Sunday morning while you're having your tea and toast. Or tea and crumpets if you're very lucky. We have an all-Norwegian semi-final going on. We have Bright Young Things, Team Lukas Høstmælingen from Norway, who have just demolished everybody in their path this weekend. And in contrast, we have the huge experience of Team Stefan Walstad. So guaranteed win for Norway. But which is it going to be? Is it going to be the more experienced side? They've got loads of European championships, world championships, mixed doubles experience. Or is it going to be the young foursome who are still not out of juniors?
Ja, Magnus. Bra linje, altså. Magnus inn for det. Yes. Yes. Bare kjør. Bare ta den. Hard, Magnus. Hard, hard, hard. Over senteren. Hard, 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 hard. Hard.
We are playing no tick rule here at the Baden Masters. What that means is if that stone had been touching the centre line, that's why the guys were so keen to keep that stone moving, try to keep it curling. If that stone was touching that centre line, that would mean they would not be allowed to move it off that centre line until free guard zone is over. But because it's not touching the centre, and maybe Stefan just asking Lukas, are we agreed this is not touching the centre? Now, Walstad's team, they can move that stone around. It's still protected by free guard zone, so you can't move it out of play. And that's a really, really nice shot from Magnus Vollberg. Look, he's got 2 corner guards out of it. Real good stuff from him. Perfect tick shot there.
Gjerne gå litt. Gjerne med. Min. Se opp. Grunne, ja. Bare kjør, Grunne. Bare gå. Ja. Hardaran. Ja. Oh, bra.
That's more like it. But unfortunately for Team Hoestmælingen, free guard zone is now over, and touching the centre line or not, that stone can now be removed.
Rent, nære, japp, hard. Okay. Bra satt, Mathias.
Good shot there, gets both those reds moving, moves the red off the centre line. It is still hanging around, but away now from the centre. He did though leave a guard hanging around out front there, and I'm sure we shall see this aggressive young team trying to use that guard immediately. I think I might have done this the other way around on the other handle. A little bit more space on that side, but maybe they feel like they know this line a bit better.
5, 4, 5. Wow! 8, 9. Vi er 9. Vi skal ikke gå noe uansett. Ja, bare det da.
But this one's coming in hot. We saw that the ice seems to be running very, very quickly. It was about 15 seconds plus hog to hog for T-line, and that may be just catching a couple of the players out already. Still hanging on. That might put pressure on Walstad later, but first things first. We want to get rid of that red out front. And if Truls Brendan, if he's really clever with this nice delicate weight, he could maybe get a nice roll here, which they do, but either a little bit too far or not quite far enough, and fully open through that fairly generous port.
Mouat! Okay. Yes. Wow!
That stone not really curling too much. The team deciding halfway, okay, let's try and roll the other way rather than towards the centre. Job done. Removing that dangerous yellow, and actually they won't mind too much just taking that back stone out on the way as well. Now really first opportunity almost in this end for Walstad to now start building a little bit. Magnus Nedergoten being asked to sit one on top of that red. Lock a yellow over on that stone at the side there. And they judged that perfectly. Look at that. That yellow not going anywhere.
Dra på den, ja, hvis vi skal gjøre noe med den. Jeg synes det en stein tidlig, og bare dra dit.
Megan in the chat, she's enjoyed seeing the new teams. Not only entirely new teams, like our young Norwegian friends here, but also just new lineups after an Olympic cycle, which is of course 4 years. There's a bit of a mad rush to figure out what you want to do for the next 4 years. We've seen quite a few line-up changes. It's a big commitment, 4 years of your life, particularly if you're aiming for Olympics, and most of the teams here, that would be a realistic goal for them. And it's a big commitment. Not surprising that some folks here and there say, okay, I think I need a bit of a rest. Famously, Peter de Cruz or Simone Gonin from the Italian team. We've seen a few folks taking a step back for the next cycle. And a couple of misses creeping in now for young Hoestmaelingen. That was the right call. They were just trying to chase that stone from Magnus Nedregotten. Try and do the same back to Walstad's team as they'd just seen. Just sit another one on top of that yellow, but a bit too many beans on that one. And that gives Walstad another chance here to sink a second yellow in. I'm sure the young ones don't mind drawing the pin if they have to try to get themselves out of trouble, but remember, it is Walstad who has last stone here in this third end, and this end setting up quite nicely now for yellow. We have 4 stones to come in our third end of our featured semi-final. The other semi-final next door on sheet 3, you can watch that on the static cam. And a huge throw from Benoit Schwartz for the last stone in the third end, picked up an important score of 2 for Schwaller's team. And that means the score in our other semi-final after 3 ends. It is still the Dutch boys, Wouter Goesgens' team, leading 3 points to 2. Whatever the result of these semi-finals, the 2 teams that don't progress to final, they can console themselves. They will have a prize check for 4,500 Swiss francs. That's a real big payday for competition expenses. And our quarter finalists yesterday evening, they take home prize money of 1,500 francs. And we're very, very grateful to our sponsors for making this such an attractive event for the teams. Young Høstmælingen's team, though, getting in a bit of trouble here in this third end. They're going to need a little bit of magic from 4th thrower Grunde Buras with their final stone at the moment. We have the active cam this morning as well. Advantage Walstad here in this third end. Can he make use of it? Take advantage of that advantage? They surely can. Great shot from Walstad. Oh dear. Now our brave youngsters facing 3 really well placed yellow stones.
Litt daft, det var bra som fikk på den.
Det er sånn syndrom, du står og tar tida, og så plokker du den ut, og så står du og ser. Den ligger jo perfekt da.
Just asking Denise Nordby, how much of these yellows can you see? Not too much, I wouldn't think. This is a very difficult shot for Buras, but his team really needs a little bit of magic from him. A big score for Walstad here would make the young guys' lives quite difficult to get back.
Japp! Wow! Japp! Wow! Med!
Swooping to try to catch the curl. He's pretty good. Oh. Is it good enough though? I think they needed still just a little bit more curl, because I fancy Stefan Walstad has a same again shot. And unfortunately for our juniors, I think they're about to score a hatful here.
Stikke den gule I rød uansett. Hvis du spiller vanlig. Jeg tror vant å sa ja, da må man dragge litt. Akkurat nå så skimmer den toppen. Ok, uansett. Jeg klarer vel å få den ut selv om oss. 11-5. Ja. Og bra fart.
Big throw here for Stefan Walstad. Huge opportunity to put a big score up in this third end. Fourth end. They haven't put the blank up from last time.
Linja bra. Rent. Oh. Rent. Linja bra. Køll.
Also sweeping for curl. We saw that with Buras' last stone as well. But no trouble for the more experienced side, and disappointing end there for Høstmælingen. I think they were maybe a little bit over-aggressive. I think that's maybe getting to the stage in the competition where that might actually catch them out. But wonderful end from Stefan Walstad. They have given themselves a huge boost to make it into the final round here. That's a huge score of 4 to Stefan Walstad, and after 4 ends it is. That makes the score Stefan Walstad's team from Norway 5. Lucas Hoestmaelingen, also from Norway, 1. Look at that, viewers, if you're just joining us for the second half of our featured semi-final at the Baden Masters. Indeed, Team Stefan Walstad just put a huge 4 on the board. Very aggressive end in that 4th end. But you have to be careful if you're playing those tactics. You really have to nail your aggressive shots, and we've seen Lucas Høstmælingen's team, we've seen them nailing these aggressive shots all weekend, but just a couple of half shots in that 4th end. And their fellow Norwegians happy to jump on that.
Bra linje, altså. Bare deres. Gjerne død. Gjerne død.
We will see then Team Høstmælingen, they have no choice from here. They have 4 ends to grab back at least 4 points. Good to see them still smiling. They do typically play aggressively, even when they're already ahead, but now they're 4 points behind. We will see all of their stones in play from here on, I think. Superfan Michaela in the chat. She wonders if the experience now be telling, actually. Experience telling over youth. So that fearlessness and that positivity, that has got them a long way in this competition. Lukas Høstmælingen's team. If you look at all the names that didn't make it this far in the competition, I think come what may, they've had a superb debut here in the World Curling Tour at Baden Masters. But quite a lot of work to do to get themselves back into this game. They would love to respond immediately with 2 points back at least. That's why they're putting up some corner guards.
Tapp egen eller dra hit. Tapp egen.
As we've said several times this weekend, though, you have to hold your nerve when you're putting up your corner guards. You know your opposition are going to play towards that centre, and by the time you have your 2 corner guards, you will be looking at 3 opposition stones towards the centre line. Oh, my apologies to Mathias Brendan. I was getting his name wrong. Looks like we have his full name in the programme, but he goes by Mathias.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He doesn't seem to like his throw there.
Yep.
I think he just punched that yellow back a little bit too far. They've now got 2 yellows behind T, but that doesn't change the tactics for Lukas Høstmælingen. He needs to get some counters in behind those corner guards here. The other way to do this, rather than a straight draw, you could do that nice controlled hit and roll, but oftentimes that's more difficult to control, to get that roll really perfectly. And this is definitely the safer idea. Let's just make sure we have a second counter, or what we will hope to be a second counter at the conclusion of the end. And he's done that beautifully. Magnus Lillebø. That's been their strength all weekend, and making use of that again. And we've seen plenty of ends set up like this over the weekend, and indeed the team with last stone do end up scoring a couple of points. Good setup then from the young team, trying to bounce back from kind of out-aggressing themselves.
Yep.
A couple of half shots in the previous end, and giving up a huge score of 4. They really want to fix that immediately.
Yep. Whoa. Egen.
Oh boy, look at that though. Golly, what a shot from Mathias Brendan. Making it round the guard by nothing at all. And for an encore, rolling straight towards the centre. Great shot from him, really satisfying. Lukas then deciding enough's enough, and he wants to get something in the centre before it gets all blocked. That's maybe a little bit inexperienced showing though. We saw Denius Nordby put up 2 beautiful corner guards, and I fancy that they're now going to just ignore them. Lovely throw from Magnus Lillebo. However, Stefan Walstad is delighted if he can give up 1 point here. If they give up 1 point, if there's a score of 1 red, and Stefan Walstad then retains last stone in the next end, they're quite happy about that, and this is exactly what I would think of doing as well. Let's just block that red in. Let's just make a nice elegant ring of yellow stones all around it, making it really difficult for the youngsters to get a second point in, and maybe a little bit missing tactically at the moment for the youngsters. But as we also have said over the weekend, when you're going for the corner guard, you know your opposition playing towards the centre, you have to have good courage that you've got the firepower in your middle order who can sort it out, who can clear out that centre, and maybe that's where there's still a bit of a gap maybe for the youngsters. We haven't seen them throwing too many huge weights, and yeah, look at the pickle they're in now. After playing 420 T-lines, I think you might have to play a hit for the first time this weekend, boys. They seem to have been a bit all over the place tactically this end. They did the right thing, throwing up those nice corner guards, putting a really nice stone in behind it. But then you need to turn your attention to the centre, and not in a T-line sort of way. You have to start clearing out the centre. Good morning, James, in the chat. James from English Curling. Good morning again. Nice to join us over breakfast time. It's really funny watching these young boys. I've said it many times in the past that oftentimes when you have a junior boys team in particular, they love to throw it as hard as they can, and sometimes really see the whole team standing around. If there's nothing to hit, then they don't really know what to do. And it's almost like this team is exactly the reverse. They needed to start hitting something earlier on this end, clear themselves a bit of space, because at the moment I don't even think they're lying shot. I think it's that yellow ahead of T-line. Worth a measure probably. But I think that yellow ahead of T-line is just touching the 1 foot circle there. And I don't mean to pile in on this brave young team that we've been enjoying watching all day, but if I were Stefan Walstad, I might be thinking of trying to go for an 8 here. He's got 5 stones in already. But this is the professional approach. That's the only danger stone, was that corner guard. And yeah, you cannot draw yourselves out of trouble here, boys. You cannot outdraw that yellow that's currently sitting ahead of T. Maybe you could. You could maybe Would there be space to come in the clockwise handle? I'm not even sure. That red out front could be an issue. It's pretty much on the path for a draw. Yeah, I think we have to hit something, lads. Welcome Edward in the chat as well. You're right, sir. It's been an aggressive game from the start, but kind of controlled aggressive game, forcing ones from each other. But the wheels falling off a little bit for our exciting new young team. That's the dangerous shot for Walstad, is driving that driving that red back into that pair of yellows. So he needs to do something about that red. Either maybe remove it, or you could throw a guard towards centre line, just block access to it. It is Team Lukas Hoestmælingen who has last stone here in the fifth end, but they're not doing anything very coherent with it at the moment. Nevertheless, Norwegian curling will have a team in the final here at Baden Masters, which is a huge achievement. Really tough to win this competition. It always throws up a few surprises. This competition, first one here in Europe in World Curling Tour. And yeah, typically the teams finding their feet, finding their ice legs again. They've had quite a pause over summer, so typically throws up a few surprises, but to actually get your hands on the trophy is pretty tough stuff. If you look at the names on the trophy, not too many surprises by that stage. Already a big deal for a Norwegian team to get to the final. Neither of the Norwegian teams in our semi-final here, neither played in the final before. Høstmælingen's team, first time in this competition for them. A wonderful debut. A little bit spoiled for choice then with options. Stefan Walstad needs to do something about that dangerous red stone. Does not want to give the youngsters a chance to drive that back into the pack. But yeah, not a daft idea to just take a run at that pack anyway. What do you think, viewer? I think still it's that yellow that's just biting the one foot just by a molecule. Looks like they don't like the angle though. To go for a double takeout would be awkward, the way the angles are set up here.
Det sånn den liker I hvert fall. Ja, ikke det engang, ja. Hit, fart hit, ja. 10.
Ja, enig. Selv om jeg stopper der også, det noe å gjøre på sist da.
Ja.
Jeg prøver å sette den der, så koster vi så har linja.
Ja,
du med på det?
Margin litt bak da, I så fall.
Ja, jeg setter den sånn 7 da.
8, ja.
Ja, men da...
Still smiling, young Høstmælingen's team, good to see. I'm sure they've picked up loads of experience and loads of learnings from this weekend. We have loads more events coming up in World Curling Tour. You can check that out at worldcurlingtour.org. We shall be covering a few of them here in the stream.
Kommer an på hva Max vil si. Det mye is? Ja. Om det mye is? Ja, hvis vi skal ha fart hit, så synes jeg ikke det. Okay.
Not quite a Hail Mary shot yet, but needing to give themselves a chance at a final stone here with fourth thrower Grunde Buras with his first throw in this fifth end.
Ren, 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 ren. Nærme. Magnus. Yes, Magnus.
Again, trying to sweep it for curl. This looks a little more successful. That's a nice throw. Ooh. 17 stones around the 4-foot circle there. A whole heap of granite, and that's a situation that can also change quickly. Nice throw from Grunde. They've at least cleared out a bit of the mess out front. They should have given themselves a chance to have a final shot. Now everyone having a powwow to understand if you take a run at this huge pile of stones, where does everything go? Edward also thinks it's that yellow just next to Matthias Brendan's brush. He thinks that's currently lying shot. Probably not for long. I think we're going to see things switched up a little bit after this throw. Final throw in the fifth end for Stefan Walstad.
Yep. Hele veien. Hard. Hele veien. Kom igjen, den blir bra. Kom igjen. Kjør.
Boom. That's exactly what they were pointing with their brush. All the reds disappear. Everything open. Relatively straightforward shot at this level. But this is exactly what Walstad would want. He's now forcing his young Norwegian counterparts to hit and stick for one. It will be Walstad who gets last stone back, and playing a shot against 4 opposition counters, never easy.
Yep. Yes.
A bit of a confused end then for Lukas Høstmælingen's young team.
Hard.
Oh dear, and this doesn't look like a happy throw.
Hard.
Oh no.
Hard.
It did look like awfully tight ice for just bumping off that yellow. That ice looked like more the kind of ice you would play a hit, and oh dear, what a hateful end that ended up being. They got themselves in a bit of a muddle early on in that end, young Hoestmælingen's team, and not able to pull themselves out at the end.
Perfection means nothing if you cannot feel it. I think a lot about how I feel when I enter a space. Imagine you walk into your kitchen and you feel that this place is truly made for you. Maybe because of the clean lights or the real materials. I believe in authenticity. It is probably the most difficult thing for us, to stay true to who we are. For me, this is perfection.
Du er enig I at dere bare kan takke, ikke sant?
Det bra.
Nære.
Hæ?
Spiller jeg noen gang til, da.
Ok. Ja, men det kommer ikke. Det litt vanskelig å prate sammen.
Kan bli med litt, da. Vil han prøve å stikke?
We're all still reeling from that fifth end. Ended up being a terrible end for our exciting new young team from Norway, Hoestmælingen, giving up a horrible steal of 4, their last stone. I think the team wondering if the team picked up. Indeed, one of our Japanese friends in the chat says, ouch, and yeah, there's no way back from that, I'm afraid, at this level. That would be terribly unfortunate if that stone went wrong because of a pickup, that it went over something in the ice and that redirected it. As you saw, that's the weight I think they were looking for, that just kind of bumping off weight and flopping towards the centre. But the line was nowhere near, and sadly for our exciting new team from Norway, I think that's probably going to be as far as they get in this competition. But playing one more end at least. No such disasters over on sheet 3 though. In our other semi-final we have last year's winner Yannick Schwaller, but with a new lineup this year, and they are playing Goesgens from Netherlands. The Netherlands boys having a superb weekend. I think they've hardly even been behind in a game yet. They were the first team to qualify for quarterfinals. They were the first team to qualify for semi-finals yesterday evening, and they are 4-2 ahead at half-time up on Yannick Schwaller.
Generelt litt mye is på dem der, Magnus, sikkert. Ja, jeg vet, men det ofte at det...
James wondering about Stefan Walstad's famous beanie hat. We wonder, James, maybe it couldn't get up this morning. It's early doors on this Sunday morning. Maybe the beanie hat is having a lie-in. As far as I know, it still has its own Twitter account, Stefan's famous hat, so maybe it will update us later with its progress today. And that's not a mistake, viewers. That's simply Stefan Walstad's team just being very cautious. I think they want to finish this game here in the 6th end. Any stone in play is a stone that Hoestmælingen could use. And that's why they just threw that stone straight through. Would be nice to see our young Norwegian friends finish strongly. Let's pick up a point or two with last stone here in the 6th end.
Yep, linje! Wow, wow, wow! Grunnes inn, grunnes inn. Det med, ja. Alltid med. Grunnes inn. Bra. Wow!
Lovely set-up play again from the front end of this young Norwegian team. That's Tinius Nordby at lead and Magnus Lillebo at second.
Rent, linja bra. Yep.
We are definitely going to see Team Stefan Walstad hit for home from here.
Sitt, sitt. Det er nesten sånn satt igjen. Hadde du kostet spinn tilbake, så den hadde sitt igjen. Du burde ha kostet backspin.
Big news on sheet 3 though. Hoesgens not quite accurate with his final shot, and Yannick Schwaller's team able to put a big score of 3 on the board. That game going backwards and forwards as we would expect, and after 5 ends in our other semi-final, it is Schwaller now leading Hoesgens Netherlands team 5 points to 4.
Huh? Flink.
Ja, hvis du er brennhard, så har du den på 80. Kanskje. Jeg tror du bare dytter den litt. Jeg tror ikke du har sjans til å få den ut. Ok.
Ja, veldig pent spilt, Magnus. Veldig bra kosta Tines også. Min venn Tines. Han har jeg kjent lenge. Bare snakke til streamen. Hvis noen
mighty shove from Magnus Niedergoten. I think he was trying to catch just an edge of that red and spin it all the way across the house and catch the other red.
Yes.
Oh, that's not very nice, Magnus.
Yep.
Give our young colleagues a bit of a chance in this end.
Ja, 4. Akkurat inne.
Very satisfying though, had he made it.
Litt trang linje. Skal være 4. Bra linje, skal være 4.
Magnus!
Yes!
An unfortunate wobble in the middle of this game for young Lukas Høstmælingen's team.
Hard! Hold on! De kan splittes inn.
But these tactics will serve them well. As we said, still in juniors, all of them. A couple of them still have 2 or 3 years left in juniors.
Yes.
And this style of play will serve them well in their careers. So look out for Norway being bright stars in the junior men's competition.
Yep. Whoa, køll. Whoa. Whoa.
Magnus scattering the stones all over the ice hall. Narrowly missing Benoit Schwartz.
Ja. Ok, da drar vi rundt den siden da. Wow. Wow. Der, ja.
A real textbook end of curling here though. Lukas Høstmælingen's team aiming for 2 points, putting up their corner guards. Stefan Walstad's team hitting for home, just keeping it clean.
Skråpad! Hard! Takk.
And that's not a bad result actually. That red is back ring, obviously. But that yellow, the Walstad put up with their first stone from Magnus Wahlberg, that's now covering it. And this is also a nice tactic to try and get a mistake from your opposition, to try and put 2 points up on the board. I think hit something for goodness sake is the call here. Walstad, they can afford to be really conservative from here. Just removing everything from play. Walstad's team, they shouldn't need any more points from here. 9 points on the board already, ought to be enough to close out this game. When he's rubbing salt in the wound a little bit, isn't he? Yeah, the boys again looking at outdrawing that yellow that's covering the pin. But I'm not sure that's quite the right call. I think this is a more sensible idea. Let's get another stone in front, or I'm wondering if you just hit that front yellow on the nose, I think the double takeout is available, and then you would have 2 stones nicely lined up on the centre line there. But they do love to draw, this young team, and good for them. That's what wins you championships these days.
Deres. Veldig fin linje, altså. Magnussen. Mot.
This has really caught the curl though.
Ja, så langt som mulig. Nå har vi race-dobberen til etterpå.
Jeg tror nesten mer også.
Oh dear, life not getting any easier for our young Norwegians. That shot rather summing up their morning, unfortunately.
Hvis vi gjør en bra stand, så vi ikke tror vi kan få poeng, så takker vi for kampen, så det blir X. Så ser det bedre ut på tavlen.
Megan in the chat saying, yeah, Høstmælingen team learning lessons here. Absolutely. What a performance from them. Not much needed to compete at this level consistently for them, I don't think. Final throw in the 6th end for Stefan Walstad. Will this be his final throw of the semi-final?
Litt tight om nå. Kan stoppe egen nå, tight.
Walstad's team, they would love to finish this game here if they can. And just let the other boys use all their energy over on the other semi-final. And Walstad's team can come off early, have a rest.
Den. Dash, den I så fall.
Ja, det da du får riktig sånn.
Litt sånn drar hele.
Kan prøve.
You.
Ja, bare prøv den da. Så det gøy.
Those yellows lined up awfully nicely if you're yellow. Not so nicely if you're red. Definitely a Hail Mary shot coming here, and why not? I think this will be Lukas Høstmælingen's team. I think this will be their final say in this competition. And why not go for a big circus shot? Good for you guys. Nothing to lose. May as well try driving that corner red back into the pack of yellows. Good luck, sir.
Whoa. Mer. Okay. Takk for kampen.
Oh, a brave try. He just had to catch an edge of it. But that is game. Our all-Norwegian semi-final then. We certainly have a Norwegian winner. And the Norwegian team going to the final here at Baden Masters is Team Stefan Walstad. Really strong performance from them. A shy little smile from Stefan, as is his normality. And they will be delighted to have had such a strong game there. They're off in plenty of time. That would be a steal for Walstad there in the 6th end. And I'm sure they will do the gentlemanly thing and steal 1 point. I think there were 3 lying or something, but the gentlemanly thing would be to steal 1 point there, and that would give us a final score here in our all-Norwegian semi-final at Baden Masters. Final score of 10 points to 1 to the very experienced Stefan Walstad over Lukas Hoestmælingen. So congratulations to Lukas Hoestmælingen and his young team. I think a lot of us have really enjoyed watching them this weekend. What a debut in this really tough competition at Baden Masters. All congratulations to them. But it will be Team Stefan Walstad that we see in the final, which is scheduled for 1:30 European time. Now, who will be joining them? Not clear, not yet. It is still 5 points to 4. Yannick Schwaller is leading Wouter Goesgens' team from Netherlands. And Schwaller is lying 1 here, well guarded in the 6th end. You can watch that on the static cam to see who will be joining Stefan Walstad's team in the final. Thank you for your company for this semi-final. Join us back at 1:30 European time for the final. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Perfection means nothing if you cannot feel it. I think a lot about how I feel when I enter a space. Imagine you walk into your kitchen and you feel that this place is truly made for you. Maybe because of the clean lines or the real materials. I believe in authenticity. It is probably the most difficult thing for us, to stay true to who we are. For me, this is perfection.